Hello, everybody. Welcome to another listen along. I am your host, William, and today I am joined by Tyler of Save Face to listen to another kill for the highlight reel. Hello, Tyler.
What's up? Can you still hear me? Is
Oh, I
everything
can. I can still hear you, but I'm gonna turn you up a little bit.
cool?
Because that's something we got to do here. But hello, everyone. It's so nice to be back doing another listen along. If you haven't been to one of these before, what we do essentially is listen to the entirety of an album, start to finish, no stopping, generally with the person or at least some people responsible for the creation of that album. I'm very lucky to have Tyler with me today. Super stoked about this. Honestly, this is a long time coming because,
Yeah,
yeah, I wanted Say Face on like right after the release.
yeah,
And it's been, I just like, you were touring constantly and I didn't have a great way of reaching out to you. And then when we did finally like connect and it was a perfect time. In fact, you were like in LA
yeah.
and we were talking about doing this in person. We were like,
Mhm.
oh, that would be cool because I've only done one in person before with Field Medic, and
Yeah,
then I got COVID like right, but as you were getting here, I recovered from COVID just in
yeah,
time for us to have like a little lunch, and
mhm.
then you were gone.
Yeah, yeah. It's been a lot lately. Just a lot of shit going on. So I appreciate you still wanting to do it like all this time after the album's already been out.
Oh
Um,
yeah, of course.
yeah,
Yeah, I'm glad that we got to do this because it is like I do really like the album. I'll
yes,
get back. I'll get more into like what we're about to do here in a second. Just let me gush for a moment.
sure.
It's just, yeah, in the sense like I was introduced to it because of we are no ear buddies.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Yeah, and
took a
I
second to get the pun, but I know
yes
what you
yes
mean.
yes, and I just like saw Jamie Coletta post the thing that I really loved was the I think the copy for it was, in an age where bands are desperate to hide all of their influences, this is a band that like wears them on their sleeve, and I was like, okay, all right.
Uh-huh.
I
Yeah,
really like that. I like that a lot.
it's cool.
Okay, let me get into the spiel some more.
Yeah,
So this is what's going on. We listen to albums, on here. I'm going to pull up this very simple graphic. So first, I'm going to visit the band's website or Bandcamp. Then I'm going to encourage you to purchase the album and merchandise if you can. Then and then I have a little thing after, so you could do it after if you're not sure about taste. But whatever, just buy the stuff if you have the means. If you have the means, supporting the artists who come on here in turn supports me. If you don't think about it logically at all. And then I will encourage you to open a streaming service. This is important because I will not be playing the album live on stream. The music, the songs will not be going through to your ears unless you pull it up yourself. So this is a first call. Open a streaming provider of your choice. I'll be using the Green Music app, but you can use the Fruit with the bite taken out of it, or the Jay-Z one, or Deezer. And then we'll wait for a 3, 2, 1, go. That is not it, but that's what it's going to sound like when I do it. And we will be synced up. I will sync with Tyler. Tyler will sync with me. We will both sync with you. And it should be good. So, again, pull up a streaming provider. I won't be playing the music live on stream. We will be accompanying the music, the album, as a sort of album commentary here. But you will need to pull it up. We will do a sync. It will be a 3, 2, 1, go. That's not it. But on go, we will hit play and we should all be good. The last thing here is exclamation point listen in the chat if you're watching this on Twitch. Exclamation point listen will bring you to a couple of links. The first one is the big link tree kind of thing that Save Face has for purchasing the album, listening to the album, all sorts of stuff. Like it's their big master link thing. And then the second one, here, I'll put it in the chat. And then the second one is just a link to the Bandcamp. So first link is the big .ffm link, and then the second one is the Bandcamp. And again, that's only on Twitch. So if you're watching this on YouTube afterwards, subscribe. That's all I got for you. Okay, cool. Last thing I want to say before I bring Tyler's face into the world is if you are interested in this kind of a thing, I think this is like the 38th one that I'm doing. So I've done several other ones. No, meow says no title link. Sad, but you've got to be on title though, right?
Yeah, I mean, I would assume. I feel bad. Maybe I should know that, but I don't. I'd like to think that we are.
I'm
If you
sure. I'm sure
can-
you're on title. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Let me just move that a little bit more. Okay, cool. Okay, so just look them up on title. The album is by Save Face, and it is another kill for the highlight reel. So you can look that up. And I've done, like I said, a ton more of these. I've had Pink Shift on. I've had Origami Angel on. I've had Jer. I've had which like Jer, Scott2 Network Jer. I've done a ton of these things, a ton of bands. It's been really fun, and you can check all of those out. I have a Bitly, which is I'll type it in the Twitch chat, but I'll say it out loud. bit.ly/listen along YT. And that's capital L, capital A, capital YT. And that will take you to a playlist with literally every single one of these that I've done so far. Okay, let's bring in Tyler. I'm probably going to have to do an adjustment, but here we go. Hi, Tyler. And I do have to do an adjustment.
And I do.
There you go.
Hi.
Scooch over. Hello. Thank you for being here. I'm taking a look at your Bandcamp right now. Isn't that
Awesome.
fun?
Yeah, I can't say that I've looked at my Bandcamp maybe in a really long time. So
Can you? Oh, it is really cool. It's extremely abrasive.
That sounds right. Oh yeah, I changed all of the colors to like MySpace era annoying colors. Like it's probably like cyan and like bright green and yellow or something.
Yes. It's like, well, yeah, it's cyan and like a kind of magenta, and there's a big red block on each side. It's great. Can I ask you about the album cover? Do you want to like expand on that a little bit?
Sure. I guess I was trying to think of album artwork, and I was doing a bunch of like, I don't know what to call it, not like research, but like kind of research or mood boarding or like looking at stuff that I thought was cool. Ultimately, I decided that I wanted it to be my favorite album artwork is like really distinct and striking. Um, so it like when you think of it, you think of the album and like not really like a lot of other stuff. So I kind of drew some concept art. So I drew I drew a terrible version of yeah. It was just like it's like what you see, but just I can't draw. But I drew that, and then I just kind of communicated that idea to my friend Joel, who Joel was in New Jersey, and I was working on my friend's record, a band called Mom Jeans, and Joel was there, and Cody, who's like kind of like does a lot of photography for bands, he was also there, and we were kind of like talking about the album artwork. I was showing him these ideas, and Joel like even like drew like a draft of like what I drew. It looked way better, but ultimately we decided that it'd be really cool if it was like a photo, which I didn't really maybe want like a photograph. I like the idea of it being drawn. I was like, that was kind of like what I was picturing. But we took the photo in my room. I just got like that glove. We spent a lot of time looking for like the knife or like whatever you want to call it.
Right.
Being a letter opener was like what I was looking for, because all of like the knives or like daggers were like so cheesy and like weird. I just
Oh
wanted
yeah.
you know what I mean? Of like a, so we bought like the letter opener. We bought a bunch of stuff and then just like used the best looking thing. Took the photo, and then Joel brought the photo into like, I don't know, like either Photoshop shop or Illustrator, and like made it look like this, where it looks kind of like a drawing sort of, or it doesn't look like a photograph necessarily. And I love it. I as soon as there's a bunch of different versions that had all different kinds of like text on it, but we ended up going for the no text. And I think it's like exactly what I wanted, or like even beyond it. Really, it's like it's totally perfect to me. And it just it brings in like, even if you were to get like the vinyl, like the back side of the physical copy is the other side of the hand, and it's like cut up and shit. And
Wow.
there's a lot of like cool like iconography that we used in the packaging and stuff that is all very like distinct, and um yeah, I'm really really happy with like all of that, and Joel and Cody and like anyone else, who's involved. Like everybody like did an awesome job. So also, should I not curse? I
No,
don't
you
know if
can
I
curse. You're
okay.
you're fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is okay. It is okay to curse. But that's awesome. It's like funny. I didn't realize it was like even any part of it was kind of photograph
Yeah,
like
yeah,
until you just said it. It literally because of, I guess, because of the sort of illustrative qualities of most of it,
yeah,
it sort of disguises the fact that it is based out of a photograph. So that's
yeah,
cool.
yeah. And like I think I posted up early on like like the raw photo, which is also really cool. But I really like that it's like a cool kind of hybrid between like a photo and illustration.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it is very like like there's like such a stark contrast that having it be basically like monochromatic
Yeah,
is and with just the touches of red. Yeah, it's very deliberate. That is
totally.
this is definitely something that looking back at it, it would be like, oh, very easily associated with the album. It's like this
Like,
is, yeah, this is that album. This is another kill for the highlight reel, and the letter opener is perfect. Yeah, I honestly, if you had used like a knife or something, it would have like, it almost would have been too clunky, I think, as well.
yeah, yeah. There's something about this that just felt really good, and everything with this album, be it the songs, like really every part of it is very intentional. And that was kind of the thing that was making me kind of like concerned about the band and just playing music in general, was it didn't feel like I had any intention with music at a certain point. And it was kind of already starting before the pandemic, but like especially going into the pandemic, I was having a hard time figuring out like what I wanted to do, and it felt like anything I tried, there was no real like intent behind it. And I kind of decided like if I'm going to spend time making a thing, if I don't have like real defined intention, then I just don't want to do it, because it feels uninspired and like not worth it, I guess.
Yeah, I
So
saw I saw that thread that you were talking about on the your the jumpsuits, like why you wear
uh,
the red jumpsuits. I saw that on
uh-huh,
Twitter recently, and I really like that because like I never questioned the jumpsuits.
uh-huh.
Um, and really, I was like, there's an element of me that's almost like jealous, like envious of your all of your like commitment to just kind of trying and doing things
Yeah,
like that. Because as Glass Beach, when we haven't really performed live a ton. We only did like the two tours, and one of them was just a West Coast tour, and it was very short.
yeah,
And then we've barely played live like around LA, and I mean especially because, well, yeah, we sort of like came into the scene like just as the pandemic was starting, so we
uh-huh,
haven't really felt comfortable doing a lot of live shows.
yeah,
But we've talked extensively about how we want to do our live shows and how we want to present ourselves, and we've gone kind of back and forth on like the theatricality of like costuming and that kind
Sure.
of thing. And I think we're falling more in the direction of something like I don't know if you've ever seen Anamanaguchi, but they just
Yep.
put on like a huge like LED and like huge screen walls and stuff like that. And we're falling more into that category of yeah, we want to put on like a great performance, we want like incredible visuals, that kind of stuff, but like there's no cohesiveness to like the band members necessarily. And
Sure. Yeah.
the reason I was saying like there's kind of like an envy or like a jealousy thing going on is because like I've kind of always wanted to be in a band where we are like very like the Beatles where they're all wearing suits, or like like with you all where you're all wearing red jumpsuits, and there is like an appeal to that cohesiveness, and I think it looks very fun.
Thanks. Well, I mean, I appreciate you saying all of that for sure. And like some of my favorite bands in the world, some of the greatest bands ever, were just a couple of people just kind of on stage that just kind of play their fucking songs, and they're really great. And it in a way it can be even more captivating because it's like it's nothing but the songs are really like evoking anything from like they're doing all the heavy lifting. But I, I only say that to say like there's no right or wrong way. Like nothing is better or worse. It's all just different, and this is what feels interesting and engaging to me right now. Um, I think especially because like I come from like a very like punk rock DIY background. Like I've been touring since 2013 in Safe Face specifically. Like there's been a lot of different iterations of this band. This band could have probably broken up and started a new band like several times over, but I just never did. Which is fine. I mean, I honestly I think more bands should be keen on like evolving rather than like kind of being pigeonholed to like one sound and then like living and dying by that one thing. Um, but yeah, like at this point, like if the band if it's a band like that I described before that just kind of gets on stage and does their thing, like that's super cool. I started to feel like that was like the only way to do it in like the space that we found ourselves in. And I just like super rejected that. And like I just found it like very boring if like at the thought of it has to be this way. If it's a choice, then that's great. But I think a lot of bands maybe it's not so much a choice as it's like a default kind of thing. Um, and I just it's that wasn't enough to get me like out of bed to like work on this or like go on tour or be in a band. Like it needed to be more engaging and interesting. So this is where we ended up with it.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. And I prefer to do that kind of thing than like, decide not to do it anymore, because it would be
For
a
sure.
shame. It would be a
Yeah.
shame to not have you around making music, and I mean especially for Safe Face, and I'm glad that you found a way to kind of revitalize your enjoyment of it.
Yeah. No, me too.
Yeah.
It
Okay,
would have
cool.
been
Well, I'm gonna move to another screen.
yeah.
So we take a look at the Bandcamp, the art here. Again, I want to encourage everybody! Exclamation point listen in the chat. Well, a link to the Bandcamp, link to all of the places that you can pull up the album. What do you have for merchandise right now?
For sale right now. I think we pulled down a lot of stuff because we did a merch drop and then we put some leftover stuff up and I just ship out everything myself. So I only keep stuff. I,
Okay.
I've done that forever. We've never had a third party like vend our merch online. So I can only keep things up for windows of time. Otherwise, I'd be like losing my mind. That's how I used to do it, like always on, and I would just always be like shipping stuff, and I don't do that anymore.
No.
um, so we might have the record up. You could buy the records from the Epitaph. Well, I think which that is linked. If you go to our website and you go to the store, there will be either whatever I still left up, or there's like a link. Like one of the like the record will link to the Epitaph store where it is for sale, and that does help because I do want the label to recoup our album, and even if I'm not getting that money, like it feels good to still make records. So I
Yes.
don't care.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. No, absolutely. I would love for you to recoup immediately.
It'd be amazing. And I'll say the other thing is if you want to get something and there's nothing up, you could save your money and wait a handful of days until we announce our fall touring, and then you can come see us on a fall tour and get stuff there. So you got options.
Okay, well. Okay, cool. Going to the next screen. This is gonna be well, I hit the wrong button. Great. Okay. Well, everybody got a moment of that. This will be the. I'll kind of do a last call now. I think for pulling up the album. So take a moment, if you will. We'll chat for like a second longer, but you'll see over here what's happening. Listening to music. The music won't be on stream. Pull it up yourself and listen along. And then down below, you'll see like as we're going, the current song and timestamp will always be on the bottom of the screen. Right now you'll see Teenage Halloween because I was listening to that, but it will be Save Face. It will be the album. I'm gonna say hi to some people in the chat. Pull up your stuff, but hello. A long time ago, my friend Austin said hi, overzealous. So like hello. Trans person here has said hi and a lot of things. Said that they love my music, which is great. Thank you so much. I hope you're also here to enjoy Tyler. And if you haven't heard Save Face before, I'm excited for you to hear them because it's fucking awesome. It's gonna be great. Yeah, we got meow meow meow. I said earlier said something, and they're saying hello and all sorts of stuff. Tad Mazeltov said hello a while ago. Wizzy Busy 67 had said put an exclamation point Discord in the chat. That's great. That's for us. That's for Glass Beach. If you were interested in that, Tad Mazeltov also says the Scrimblow shirt, like with a heart. The Scrimblow shirt.
Yeah, we're all out of Scrimblow shirts. Do you know
All out of-
Scrimblow character? That's that little guy.
I have Scrimblow up like right here.
Okay. Beautiful.
Up on the screen. Yeah. I'm very familiar with Scrimblow.
That's really funny.
Intimately familiar with Scrimblow.
Oh, okay.
Meow Meow, I think, is saying fall tour that totally is in Europe. I'm assuming Meow Meow is in Europe then or something.
I wish, yeah.
Yeah.
It's been a long time since I've gotten to go to Europe, but
I've never been out of the country. I don't have a passport.
wow.
Yeah, don't tell anyone.
Yeah. We went in 2019 and it was incredible. And
you went in 2019, so like right before you just snuck in there?
Yeah, it was spring of 2019. So we were
about a year out.
Yeah, we're in a blissful wonderland of just not worrying about anything. But yeah, it was great. Belgium, Germany, and then UK for a week. Really awesome. Hope we can do it again.
Yeah, wow. Yeah, touring Europe before the pandemic already seemed hard enough. I couldn't imagine trying to do it now.
And honestly, even like I thought it was going to be bad just with Brexit or whatever, because it was really easy to get in and out. And I don't even know how much harder it is because it's like as right after that happened, then there's pandemic reasons on why no one can go over there.
Yeah.
So I have no idea what's going on now.
Yeah, interestingly, a lot of really bullshit things got sort of lucky with the pandemic coming in. Like Brexit, it's like, it's a shit show, but it's mostly the pandemic's fault. It's like, no, it's not.
Okay.
But like that kind of stuff. Yeah. It is interesting. Oh, you're doing a little reframe, huh?
Reframe. Just
a little reframe. Yeah, no, it's great. Here, I don't have a zoom lens. What's the lens? What's the lens you got there?
Oh man, it's pretty awesome. It's like
is it a Tamron? Huh?
It's a
Sigma.
That one, and it's
Sigma
20 something to 70.
24 to 70.
It's the only lens I got because
20.
It's good enough for me, you know.
Yeah, no, it's great. Is it a 2.8? I
think so, yeah.
Yeah, I have the same one for Canon.
I'm a big novice, but this is what I was getting into during pandemic, was like photo and video. Like this was my like thing.
Well, your music videos are great. Do you direct those or?
Sort of, yeah. I come up with the ideas, and then like for the glitter video, the blood one, I had my good friend Ben, direct it. So like we talked about it, and then he directed it all, and he killed it. Bury Me Tonight, my friend Connor directed it. We kind of did it together, but Connor like really took the lead, and then the Sharpen Your Tooth video was kind of like a co-direct situation. Yeah.
Yeah, there's that's interesting to me because it sounds like are you doing more like creative direction and then like allowing yeah, okay. See that's sort of the relationship that like Jay and I have cuz like
Oh,
I'm more of like a director. I'm well, actually I'm probably more of like an assistant director in tone because like I'm really good at like keeping stuff on schedule and like, you know, getting extras like sorted and like that kind of stuff.
totally. Yeah.
Yeah. And I handle most of that like logistical things and then Jay and I and like the rest of the band members, but mostly Jay does like a lot of the creative directing kind of stuff. So
Yeah.
that's cool though. I really do love your music videos. Those the directors you worked with, your friends and stuff really did a great job. It's awesome.
Thanks.
We have people I think Saturn Rolf says Sigma over here. That's right. And then Meow Meow says, "Stop making these concerts seem less realistic than before." Yeah, I mean, it's oh, Tad Mazeltov says I got my Scrimblow shirt at the surprise Asbury headline show in March.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Very cool.
All right. I think we're good to go. You
Let's
feeling
run it.
good?
Yeah.
Let's do it. Let's do it before we get it gets so late that we just can't listen to it.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be sad? I'm gonna lose you for a second while I pull
Okay.
this up. No. The album just began in my ears, and I was like, "Don't do that." Okay, I have you back. We're good.
Okay.
Okay, so I hope everybody has pulled up the album because we're about to do it. So we're gonna listen from start to finish. The music won't be on stream. I hope you've pulled it up because we're about to do the countdown. Are you ready, Tyler?
I am. Yeah.
Is there any final? Yeah, three, two, one, go.
Go.
That is what it will sound like, and we'll hit play on go.
Gotcha.
Any last things you want to say before we start?
No.
Cool, great, excellent. So let's get this going. So this is another kill for the highlight reel by Save Face. The first song is "The Funeral You've Been Asking For." 3, 2, 1, go.
Cool. The Funeral You've Been Asking For, the original name of the album. Then it was changed to another kill for the highlight reel.
How late into the process was it changed?
Basically at the end of tracking it. So like we tracked it, and then there was probably another 2 months of tracking after that. That was kind of like bits and pieces. So it was after we tracked like 75% of the record, and then we changed the name. Or I changed the name.
Wow. I want to compliment you on your confidence a little bit here because out of most of the people that I've had on here, you are the singer who has their vocals most forward in the mix, I think.
Oh yeah.
And I really appreciate that. I like that a lot. I feel like a lot of the time singers are like inclined to bury themselves a little bit.
It was for a really long time. What helps is that I feel actually mostly happy with my vocal performance on this record. And I feel like I'm a stronger singer than I used to be, mainly because I've never been a singer. I've taken one vocal lesson after our last album came out, and that changed a lot for me. And then I brought a lot of that into this album. But I also think that like the music I'm writing, like it's not really guitar music in the same way that music I used to write was guitar music. Like this is like a vocally driven album. So if it's going to be a vocally driven album, they got to be loud, you know?
Yeah. And this is a great opening track. I'm kind of curious because like your album flows so well, and
Uh,
there are such deliberate like beginning, middle, end. How
yeah.
much of that was uh, a part of the writing process? Did you write a song and you were like, oh, this is the first song, or did you go, I'm gonna write the first song?
So I have a lot. I could say a lot about that. The one thing I want to say about the song before I forget is that this song changes from 6/8 to 4/4 to 6/8 to 4/4 to 6/8. I think that's cool because you might not even really notice it if you don't catch it. Because all right, we're in 4/4 right here. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1. So I think that's cool. And I never get to talk about that. But yeah, I write very big picture. This was the first song written for the album, knowing that it was for the album. I picked the name. I wrote the thing. I made it the first line. That's how I started the album because I was having a really hard time, and my friend forced me to like, you have to start, you have to do it. Like we were trying to write for a couple days, and yeah, that's how it started.
Great. And this is Curse Me Out. And a seamless transition from song one to song two. And what's the time signature thing there? Were you just doing a cutoff measure
Oh, for yeah, for the verses here,
for the
yeah,
verses? Yeah.
it's like an extra 2 beats or whatever, yeah.
Or something. Yeah. Oh, the extra. Yeah. Da da da. Yep.
Mhm. um
No.
yeah, this is my Sarah Bareilles love song, worship song. You know that song?
Okay. Yes.
I love Sarah Bareilles.
Sarah Bareilles is great.
Yeah. Um yeah, I don't know. This song felt really good writing it. It felt like I was looking for a song like this for a long time. It honestly, I kind of connected with like our first EP Folly again and was trying to like bring some of that back. And I don't know. I This was one of my favorites. It's really annoying to sing live. But I really like the song a lot. This part's cool. So this has a player piano in the back. That really fast tremolo keys in the back. Yeah. So we had someone play this, but we also had MIDI that we sent to a player piano to give it a more like inhuman kind of feel. And it's like way back, you wouldn't even really notice it, but it felt like it once it was in there, I couldn't like not hear it. So it's just like one of those cool things.
Yeah, hell yeah. And Gamer Jim here says vocals on this one are really cool. So
Oh,
it paid off.
thank you. Yeah.
All of your live frustration is worth it.
Yeah. A lot of vocals on this album. It was a thing where I would I run an old version of Pro Tools and there's a limit to how many tracks I can run. It's like 80 or 90 or something tracks. And I would bounce out my demo in Logic, bring it into Pro Tools, track on top of that MP3 to like export them later. But I would max out every session, every song I would do because I'm doing lead doubles, two doubles of the upper third, doubles of the lower. Like I just do that and I run out of tracks. But title track.
Jesus. Yeah, title track, another kill for the highlight reel here.
This was the
A nice
last
kind of
song
like
written
break
for the
beat.
Yeah, yeah. So, it was the last song written for the album. It's based on a demo that my friend Bart kind of gave to me, or like was like, you should write something with this. There's a couple songs that are kind of based off of demos for a different project. The only thing that got taken was the verse. So everything else we like wrote from scratch. I had no vocals, no melody written for this song when we tracked it at the time. So we just kind of put it together kind of on a whim. And the chorus, there's that lead line, the na 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 na. That was kind of like riffing on like that Rise Against song that's So put me up, da, 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 da. It's like a Rise Against thing. It's like one of their big songs.
Yeah.
But it's like the rhythm of that, like da 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 da. Because we thought that was gonna be the vocal melody, but it ended up being like the lead line, and then we had these big, like more anthemic vocals on top. Was the thing. But yeah,
I mean, it's a great like lead part of the background, I think, and also that Rise Against song you're talking about, is that the one that was like in a freaking Transformers movie or whatever?
yeah, probably that sounds
Yeah.
right. Yeah,
Yeah, whatever. Some nice halftime here.
yeah. I love this transition a lot. This
Oh yeah.
there's like just like a, and then now there's strings. The strings make it so cinematic, and that was like, I really wanted that feeling, like that cinematic feeling or whatever. And it really like does it for me on this last chorus to have like those come in. It's like super dramatic. And if you take him out of the mix, it feels way less cool. Like, like they're still going, and
Yeah.
it's so nice.
Are you doing the screaming as well?
I am, yeah. Which I'm pretty happy with my screaming. I almost tried to bring in someone else to do it, but it's really just that I'm not good at consistently doing it live. I don't do it. I can do it. Sounds good, but it's probably not good for me.
Yeah.
But
And this is Bury Me tonight.
tonight. Piano transition. I wrote this kind of early on, and I always felt really good about it. This has been one of my favorite songs, and I feel like it encapsulates like a lot of what I want to do on this album. I could say I could talk about my own like songs like for days. So I don't know like what is like worth saying or not worth saying.
Whatever comes to mind, just keep going. Yeah.
Well, this is kind of again doing that tremolo piano things feels super weird and unnatural. Guitar harmony, little moment. This is like fucking West Side Story, Broadway kind of fucking. You know what I mean? Bah! Yeah, that was like the whole vibe. Giant, like it's kind of like a big fuck you song. Like this is literally that vibe. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yes.
Dumb theatrical.
Are you a little bit of a musical theater head?
Absolutely.
Wow. We have a lot to talk about, Tyler.
Most of my playlists, I had like separate musical theater playlists when writing. Yeah, I don't know. And it's not just me; it's like Arby as well. So this was like this little
yes,
an old idea from like years and years ago that I never used. And I just love the way it like kind of builds the tension and like it like the focus is all piano and vocals, but there's still something there. And then the way it like swells up. Big fan of this part.
I wanted to say also.
Yeah.
Well, I'm a huge sucker for gang vocals.
Oh, totally. Yeah. Totally. Yeah. I felt really good about this lead, this like whatever you want to call it, like the melody of the background vocals. And I think I was kind of going like, I don't know how much of like a Say Anything fan you are or were. That I listened to that band a lot growing up, in particular as a real boy. And I feel like I was trying to have my like end of like that song Whoa, like there's like that whole outro is kind of anthemic, and I was trying to have my like whoa moment here, but like darker and whatever, you know.
Yeah. And this is Sharpen Your Teeth.
A song that I did not think Safe Base could ever pull off or write. Like a lot of songs in this album were me going, I can't do this. So now I need to try and do it. And then I would do it and I'd be like, holy fuck, this is the best song of the record. Like that happened a couple times. Because like we would never put a song out like this up until now, ever. Like not this fast, this aggressive, like a vocal delivery that I've never really tried or done before. But it still has the hook and weird samples. And it's fun because a couple shows I performed the verses using a megaphone, which is kind of like the effect that we did, which is a lot of fun. It's kind of hard to pull off, especially when you're supporting on a tour, to have like that extra like production need. But we did it a little bit. I really just broke the megaphone and then stopped doing it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So I like, the song made sense to me. I was figuring it out, and then it got to like where we're about to be, and I was like, where does it go from here? And that's when I added the whole like meter and tempo change to kind of bring it back into that more dramatic, like Baroque world. And
Yes.
I added that listen very late in the game, and if I didn't add that, I don't think it would connect as well, but it's so like annoying, but like cool and funny.
Yeah.
Big Queen moment. This is all my I'm a big Queen fanboy, so this is,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. That part's amazing.
Jer from Scottune. Those horns right there.
You do melodrama very well.
Thank you.
It's great. I think so many people, like what you were just saying about like you added that listen, like that stuff. Like I think that even me personally, there are so many things that you do that I would be like, and this is a compliment. I want to say that before I get it out.
Yeah.
It would be like, oh, is that too cringy?
Totally. There was a lot of that. There was a lot of that on this album where it was like, is this too cringy? And if I asked that question, then I made myself do it. Because I think people forget like how cringy their favorite music is because they cast this kind of nostalgic lens on everything they like, and it's cool. And if you heard the same shit today, you would think it was cringy as fuck. And that is why it's good. It's either for me, a band is either cringy or boring. There's not a lot of in between. So it's like, do you want to be boring or do you want to be interesting? Like, it's an over exaggeration, but generally that's how I feel about most bands. It's either I have an opinion, it might not be a good one, but that's better than me not giving a fuck at all. And that's how I want people to feel about my music. I don't want there to be fence sitters, like pick a side. Like you either love this or you hate this. And either way, I feel great about it.
Yeah, I find that very valuable. I mean, that's a great outlook on it too, because asking yourself, is this too cringy? And then deciding not to do it is like the wrong response.
At least for me. This song means a lot to me. This one,
I agree, Tyler.
I felt really good about this one. This one I wrote like also kind of earlier on, and it's kind of where I was like, okay, I know where like I'm going with this album. Like, if you know what I mean? It was one of those moments where I was like, oh, this is on it. Now, like I know more about the rest of the album because I just wrote this song. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
Where like it uncovers more parts of the vision that were cloudy because now I have this like anchor point.
I mean, this is one of my favorite songs on the album too. Like,
it used to
personally,
be one of my favorites, and we only started playing it recently, and I'm really glad that we are because it's fun.
I really love the how did I get here motif, like the repetition of that, like, because it's not really like a chorus, it's not like a yeah, but it's just like you're singing and then you're just like, how did I get here? And then it's just like more, you feel like more things, like revealing more about, this character or whatever, and then going like, how did I get here? It's a very, very cool like songwriting tool.
Thanks. Yeah. This one was the hardest to nail in the studio. I had to recut the vocals a couple times to get it where it felt really right. Because it was very like the spotlight is on the vocals so much there that if it's not really, if I wasn't committing, I think, hard enough early on, and it needed like that extra commitment.
Now, this is Glitter. I think this song is a little bit of an outlier on the album.
It is, and there's a reason for that. This song was written before the album really began. So the Funeral you've been asking for was the first song that I wrote for the album. Glitter was an old song meant for a different style, sound, genre that was brought in. It's very power poppy. It's very like our older music. But then we gave it this darker twist, and then it felt good. And then it was ultimately decided that it would be a great song to make a first single to bridge the gap from where people understood the band and bring them to where we are going without it being totally alienating.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
And also, it's like kind of great in its placement on the album too.
Yeah.
Because
Sure.
it is like you have enough time to get the thesis statement or whatever, the meat of like what the album is trying to do. And then there's this like little moment of like, oh, you thought you knew what we were doing. Like,
Totally, yeah. Totally. Breakdown.
Yep.
It's got to be a breakdown. With acoustic guitar in there, which like that like noise before it is reversed acoustic guitar. And it made me feel like more people should put acoustic guitar in breakdowns. I think it sounds really cool. I think that they should give it a shot. The solo was written in studio by my friend Bart, just on the fly, because all of this was added, like the breakdown, the solo section, this was all added in studio. And I make my demo, then I go to the studio to record it. This is the most that things have developed in studio, because I never really had even time to do it. I've always, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just kind of went in, did my business, and I'm out. But this was a little different. Outro part, trying to do some like, there's a lot of like nods to like 50s music and like big band music, or like it's like 50s pop music. And this is like the next song that's going to play is very much that, but this moment was supposed to be like a little cute, you know, outro thing.
Yeah, kind of like a little Earth Angel.
Yes, exactly.
And this is the perks of not being able to see your reflection.
Which people tell me they like this song a lot, and we've never played it live. It's really hard to pull off because there's a lot of different instrumentation. Like already got, there's the shaker, there's going to be strings later, there's like all sorts of different instruments that are kind of hard to pull off, unless we use tracks. But we're just not, as of right now, a tracks band, so it's hard. But this is all ripping on a Frankie Valli song, and it's very like it's all very like, this could be like a song from that big band era, and like I really tease it out more in the verses, but I love this song a lot. It's super snarky and sassy.
Yeah, and this like second verse being like so sparse and just the hits. Yeah. That is like very reminiscent of like big band kind of stuff. And
yeah, exactly. Yeah. And like now there's like those like romantic strings and shit in there, like
da, 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 da.
the big this one was pretty. I wrote this chorus very early on as well, and it stuck around, and that's kind of, this song always lingered. So yeah,
and this part too.
That's what I mean. Like to pull this off live would be difficult, which is why we haven't tried it a ton. but it's a lot of fun. I really like it. And then another big, like the stops, just all vocals. Ba, da, ba, ba, ba. Yeah.
There's there's this scale that like your music is using. It's the same one that like Jiraiya and like My Chemical Romance uses. It's like that like um something minor, something whatever. I it's the
Sense.
one where you sharp the 7 or something. I don't know, but yeah. And it's like it's I think a lot of times when you write with that scale, you kind of abandon like really um unique melodies. Like
Yeah.
people have like can, but you're very good at using it. Well, like you
Thanks.
write a really catchy melody that's like really nice, and then you sneak in that little like that minor thing, and it's like ooh.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
And this is this is AM Gothic.
Uh-huh. This one is one of my favorites on the record. It's another based on a demo that Bart gave to me. And this one didn't change a lot from that demo either. The way it's performed is a lot different. There's new parts. All the vocals I wrote. All the Bart demos were just instrumental. But I love this song. And this is another one of those songs where I heard the demo and I'm like, this isn't a Safe Face song. We don't sound like this. But now like this is what I think of when I think of the band. I love this pre-chorus part, the way like that the vocals sync up with all the hits. It's very like super emotionally driven. And Jeff fucking from Thursday right here. Jeff does the vocal. Which was awesome because I got on a FaceTime with Jeff for like 30 minutes and we mostly talked about like other stuff. We talked about the song a little bit and it just felt really good to get like he is so responsible for so much of the music that I like and so much of the music that I'm paying or trying to pay like homage to with this record. So to have him involved in any way, like it meant something to me. Like I'm not a big fan of features. I think it can be very corny and very like heavy-handed. And to have like the New Jersey crossover with Thursday and like what Jeff has done for like this sector of the music scene, even like Epitaph crossover, like it meant something to me, like so important. He was so cool. So I appreciate him so much.
Oh yeah. I mean that's awesome. It's like amazing to be able to, you know, have a peer that you like look up to and I talked over that perfect transition. But like some of that you like
Yeah.
when your work allows you to connect to those people, that's really special. I like that a
Yeah.
lot.
Yeah.
And a couple people, by the way, Gamer Jim said that last song reminded them of Famous Last Words, and Kickflip Cat said it was one of their all-time favorite songs. So
Yeah.
just wanted to mention that. And this is Watch You Die Again.
Yeah. So this is the last Bart demo. This one changed a lot. And this one I had my friend Scott from the band Born Without Bones do some writing with me on this one too and rearranged it. I love this song. I love the way that AM Gothic goes into it. That was another moment, like that transition, the reverse and the AM Gothic thing. That was another moment where it was like, is this too stupid? And I was like, well, that means we have to do it. And like, it's awesome. And we do it live and it's really cool. But I would really love to do a music video for this song. I mean, it probably will never happen, but I really love it.
Come to LA, I'll shoot it for you.
That'd be cool. My vision for this song was like some like extended kind of thing. Like people don't do this shit anymore. It's like the Green Day, like Wake Me Up When September Ends video where it's like 5 or 7 minutes and it's like basically like a short film.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I really wanted to do something like that for this. But I love this song a lot. I don't know what I have to say. Like, that's super interesting about it. I mean, honestly, like I love this part. Sample. This chorus, honestly, for me was super Third Eye Blind. Like the
Oh,
back
I
and
hear
forth.
that.
Like that's so like
We
that's
just needed
what I
more
was going for.
syllables.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm.
So yeah. And then one of the big things that Scott added to this song was this bridge, which was like so essential. A lot of synth and keys on this record, which I had never done before. And that was mostly just from starting to work in Logic for the first time and like using sounds that were just so easy to like just throw in and see how it sounded. And yeah, it changed a lot. I've never like I pretty much learned how to play like rudimentary piano for this album, so I can like just write
Oh,
stuff. Yeah,
wow.
I pretty much like I wrote all the. I had someone else perform the piano because I'm not good at performing it, but like I can
Sure,
put the chords
right.
together. And I can play it really slow and bad. So, uh,
Yeah, some people earlier were saying like has early 2000s feels, and someone was like, this reminds me of my teens, and they're
not
like a 30-year-old now. I feel the same way, and I know that that's like relatively intentional
yeah.
because
I
yeah.
in no in very explicit terms, I would said to other people and like myself, like unfortunately, pursuing music has come at the cost of my relationship with music. It's been very complicated to where it's hard to enjoy a lot of music. And I was the biggest music fan ever in my life when I was the age that I listened to all of my favorite bands in like middle school and high school. And I don't write music for anyone other than myself, but I wanted to write music for that version of me, that the kid who like music was his fucking life. Um, which is probably why it ended up sounding this way.
Well, it's very sweet. I think that's
Yeah.
sweet, and I in maybe not the exact same way, but in certain terms, I also experience and understand being like pursuing a career in music kind of ruining the
Yeah,
way that you can listen to music.
it's
Yeah.
it's really difficult for that to not happen from my experience. But
It does make it, however, like even the more like that much more special when you do like find yourself listening to an album and then suddenly the album is done and you're like,
yeah,
what the fuck? Like
yeah,
I wasn't thinking about the snare tone at all.
yeah, right,
Like that kind
yeah,
of thing.
totally.
Yeah. Also, this song is "Please Murder Me." I don't want to talk too past this. This has like a nice, beautiful like piano ballad intro and
Appreciate
stuff.
that.
It's
Yeah,
really, really great, soft like vocals from you. It's really very present in the
yeah.
ears there.
Well, the crazy thing is, I recut all the vocals for this song when I was in the studio with Mom Jeans downstairs while they were like recording other stuff, because I just came in hot from the get with this song vocally, and it was like the more I thought about it, and the more that like my friend Sam was kind of talking to me about it, it was like there was no real dynamic over the course of the song. So that's why it starts off very soft, and now we're building up now, and it feels so much better. Um, Shout out to my friend Gabe, who performed all the piano, all the strings on this. He like single-handedly is holding down the instrumentals on this track, and he's performing it. He's like a genius. But I felt really like this was a song where I was like, I've wanted to write this song like forever. Like, you know what I mean? Like, this is a huge, like, none of my peers are writing a song like this. Either lyrical content or like vocal performance wise. I felt very good about it. I still do. I think it's a flex. I think it's a flex in like writing and performance. And it's like a
Yes.
milestone just for myself because everything with this album just showed me like I could can I write this kind of song? Yeah, I can. Can I write this kind of song? Yeah, I can. Which is coming from a person who's very unconfident, very like constantly feels like he's failing. So it felt good to like have these milestones of like, no, I can write good songs. Yeah, key change. Really, like this is hard as fuck to sing. I felt really good that I figured out like how to even sing this high. That's not the high note is in a measure. Took me a while to figure it out. That's like that, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, this is rightfully a flex. I think you're right. You know, there are people who are making ballads and there are people making ballads and stuff, and there are people who are making like music kind of adjacent to this. But as far as even my own peers, I don't think people have written sections of songs that resemble this, but I think you committed to it, and it's like, and you did a piano ballad like this.
At the risk of sounding pretentious, I don't care. Like I feel really good about it, and I'm proud of it. Like I think it's good. I don't do a lot of other stuff other than this. Like, so I spent all my time on it, and I spent like almost 2 years working on this album. Like that song and the whole album. I'm really glad that I did it because I was prepared for this to either never come out or be the last thing we ever did or whatever. Because especially in like the context of the pandemic, it was like I don't even know what being in a band is anymore. I don't know if this will be a thing that happens or whatever. So it was very like writing it for me kind of thing, you know. So
And was that one of the last songs that you wrote for the album, or?
I would say it was in like the halfway point. I think the way looking at the track list now, I mean, Glitter was written in 2019. The starts of it were. Then the first, and then like the chorus for Perks was written just before Funeral. Funeral was the first full song. I think Feudal Heart was the second. Bury Me Tonight. Then it was like Curse Me Out, the beginnings of Please Murder Me. AM Gothic, Watch Me Die were brought in as the demos. Glitter was revitalized. Sharpen Your Teeth was written, and then Another Kill. It was kind of all over the place, but I saw the full thing, and it was just like uncovering it. It was just kind of here and there, but I knew it was all there. It was just kind of finding it, you know.
Yeah, yeah, and it does very, very obviously feel like you had a vision of the whole,
For
and
sure.
we're just like picking out the parts. It's
Yeah.
great. Yeah. Wow. Well, I can't believe it's done.
Yeah, it's not even that long. It's like
It is
30
not.
something minutes. Yeah, I write short songs.
Oh, I mean, I guess like, wow. Well, thank you. I mean, that was really wonderful, and it was
Thank
great to like hear your insight on it and get to gush a little bit. I think Save Face for sure for me is like it feels sort of that. You're very inspiring, like all of you, in that I often find myself as like a songwriter lacking a little bit of cringe, you know? Like
Sure.
I am so worried about coming off as cringy that I think it like puts me in a stasis of not completing anything, not like moving forward with a song, or
Yeah.
I'll like finish something, be really happy with it, really proud of it, and then I'll go to show it to someone, and suddenly every like tiny little cringy thing about it, I'm just like, oh shoot, like I have to change that, or like, you know, that kind of thing. And you all work for me specifically because like I listen to it and I can tell that that was a part of the process, and I don't find it cringy. So it gives me like that thing that I need to be like,
Yeah.
well,
Yeah.
if this isn't cringy to me, like, well,
Yeah.
all, you know, let's face it, like all art is cringy. Let's just get that out of the
Yeah.
way. But like,
It's emotional.
It-
like,
yeah,
you know.
exactly. There is something that is like, you know, there's a vulnerability to bearing any part of yourself in the work that you make. And I think that a lot of the most valuable art that people make does incorporate a very vulnerable part of themselves in it. I
Yep.
think that's very powerful. I think that like is kind of what connects to people the most. And that's just inherently cringy, and that's fine.
Yeah. I mean, if you people, there's gonna be people that hate it, but like that just to me means that you like said something. And I don't really want to make art that I feel like isn't saying something. Uh, there's a lot of different kinds of art too. So like, I'm not gonna put all art through one lens. Like we're talking generally about pop punk music, you know what I mean, or whatever you want to call it. So like, specifically in this kind of space, whatever name you want to give to it, like, yeah, I want to be cringy and vulnerable, and it's going to really annoy people, some people, and it's going to elicit a poor reaction. But I'm not interested, especially I've been thinking about it a lot lately, like I'm not interested in a wide net. I'm not interested in virality. I'm interested in finding the people who love it and making Safe Face their favorite band and creating a space for them, because that is what my favorite bands were for me. It was like you know what I mean? It was like, it just like there was a lot of comfort in like those albums and those bands. And I don't, I don't expect this to be for everybody. I expect it to be for the people who connect with it. And I want to be the best band for those people.
That comes through.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah. Yeah. I that is clear as a thesis statement for your band. That is clear.
Cool.
I appreciate it a lot. And let's see, some people. Yeah, Tad Mazeltov says, I was waiting patiently for this episode. I've been rotating this album a ton and love hearing more about it. Loved hearing more about it. Meow Meow said really enjoyed it. And then also lamented about the shipping cost for the vinyl.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. If it's on the label,
right.
I'm sorry. If it's on our website, I'm also sorry. But come to a show and then there will be no shipping.
Unless you're in Europe, in which case, sorry.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I need to fix the
For
shipping
now.
on our web. Yeah, I don't know. We'll figure it out.
It's all right, whatever. Are there any last things you want to say about the album or anything? Like, if you want to, I mean, because like the Safe Face is a band. Did you like?
Yeah.
What other members? Let
me talk about that. So like, our bass player Arby is one of my closest friends. They were incredibly important to the album. They performed all the bass. They pretty much, the way that it worked was, I wrote all these songs. I was constantly showing them to a group of people, just for general feedback and thoughts. Sometimes maybe it would be like, it could be as far as like, this is what this part should be. It could be as simple as like, this is good or this is bad, whatever, you know. That kind of carried into what I would call like the principal tracking, or like the first tracking, which was in the month of December of 2020. That was Austin Carango, plays in the band Mom Jeans. He tracked all the drums. He's one of the greatest drummers I've ever met. And that happened because there was supposed to be a Safe Face album that was going to get tracked like a year or so ago. And Austin really wanted to play drums on it, or at least communicated that to me. And there was like problems with scheduling, so we pushed it back, and then COVID happened. But it was always a thing where we talked about it, like, yeah, you're going to perform the drums. So Austin, killed it and worked with me on like the parts, and really completely leveled up all of the drumming on the record. And it's really incredible, and it's so perfect to me. Bart was there the whole time, helping me make like decisions, and kind of just being like a person in the room who I trusted, and like I felt like understood what I was going for. Our producer Brett really convinced me and made me feel like he understood what I was going for. And whenever someone had a suggestion, I just listened to them, which was not hard, but I've never been that collaborative with this band. And it's largely because I think I've struggled with feeling like people understood what I was going for, which is both a legitimate problem of having a hard time finding like the right collaborative partners, but also like personally, it can just be hard to let go of your thing. You can get too close to it. So I think it's kind of both. So I don't think there was a single time where even if it felt wrong, like there was some moments where like Brett was like, we need to add a hi-hat drum beat part to this. It can't just be toms. And I was like, you don't understand. Or like, they were like, there can't be a pause in the chorus every time. It cursed me out. And I was like, there has to be. But every time I was like, all right. And I would just like grit my teeth while they did it. And then a day would go by and I listened back and I'm like, oh, this is way better. Like this is significantly an improvement. When it came to the bass, like I had some rudimentary stuff written, but like we pretty much went part by part, me, Arby, Brett, and just like, okay, what should be here? Like, what's the bass transition? And all of the bass is incredible, performance wise and composition wise. And I mean, I don't want to like forget anybody. I mean, my friend Sam was one of those people who is like really important to like get feedback from. Austin did some vocals. Austin is just like really talented. Jared did all of the horns throughout. Austin also did some horns. Gabe performed the strings and the piano. Jeff did the guest vocal. It's a lot of people that went into it. And everyone who was involved made it better. And I'm really grateful to everybody, and I hope I'm not forgetting anybody. All of the credits are listed online somewhere in our packaging, so it's also there.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
shout out to
I
all those
appreciate
people.
that. Yeah. And I definitely love the way that like you talk about your peers and your collaborators, because it is it's very generous and sincere.
Yeah, and I really mean it. Like it's one thing to have like the core vision for something, but like just because you have like the foundational understanding of what you want to do, like you can easily get so caught up in it that you might not be able to see the best version of it. And like that's like a hard thing to even like think about, because it's like, well, it's my idea. How would I not know the best version of it? But like that's just what, in my experience, like you know a version of it, but you might not know the best one, and you have to bring in other people that you trust for it to be as good as it can be, in my opinion. But at least that was my experience with this album.
Yeah, I agree. I know, like there were parts where you were talking about how like there wasn't a lead guitar, and then Bart just like slapped something on there, or that kind of thing. It's I find it like almost like foolish to try to do everything yourself, and I say that as someone who tries to do everything themselves. Like
me as well. Yeah.
I'd say there's a lot of like, yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think I'll take us out then, and then cool. I'm gonna do a final like so long thing. I'll say goodbye to you, Tyler, off of stream, and but thank you again. I hope everybody enjoyed this. If you're watching this on YouTube, leave a comment, right? Am I right?
Subscribe. Okay. Whatever's going on over there these days, like buttons,
whatever's going on.
But yeah,
I don't know. Okay, cool. So going back to the talking screen, goodbye, Tyler's face. We'll still be able to hear you if you wanted to say something else.
I want to say thank you to you for real so much for letting me talk about this. You don't need my face, but if you want to see how sincere I'm being, I really appreciate it, Will. There it is.
That was very sincere. I wish everyone could have seen it. Very sincere.
That's my sincere, like, TikTok or YouTuber personality. Will means so much, man.
Yeah, like the kind of like the eyebrows, like,
yeah,
I'm so sincere. Yes, yes, I appreciate it. I appreciate the sincerity. Yeah. Okay, well, thank you, everybody. This will be up on YouTube, so if you missed like a portion of it, you came in late or something like that, or if you had to leave early, then you're not here right now. So hopefully you found this on YouTube afterwards. The rest of them are also on YouTube. You can find a playlist of everything that I've done for the listen along stuff. It's all on the Second Glass Beach channel on YouTube, and that's the name of it, the Second Glass Beach channel. That has all of the listen alongs. It also has some previous streams that a few of the other members of the band have done. But that's where this lives. If you're interested in following Listen Along, I have a Twitter for it. So if you have Twitter, you can go there, but it's @_Listen Along. You can turn notifications on for it because I do not retweet things, and I don't talk about anything other than like the guests that are going to be on the show, when those streams are happening, and when their episode goes up on YouTube. So feel free to have notifications on. I promise I won't flood you or anything. And that's @_Listen Along. That's it. I'm in talks with a couple other artists to get them on. Kara's Walk Home is another band that's going to be on probably in a couple weeks. I'm trying to get back in touch with Hey I Love You, because they were supposed to come on and do Psychotronic Love Songs or whatever, their new album. I was supposed to have Caleb on. I've had Hey I Love You on before to go over Internet Breath. We've done that, so you can check that out. But essentially, this is for you, Tyler. I think hopefully, obviously, if and when Save Face has more music out, if another release, definitely I would love to have you back on.
Love that. That'd be amazing.
Great. Okay, well, I'm going to take us out then. I don't really have much else to say here. So, did somebody, first time chatter, Thug Hunter 5 says, what does Tyler think about I Won't Let This Take My Life?
I'm not going to talk about that. That's some old Safe Face. That's some old Safe Face lore that I have no comment on.
Okay, great. No comment. And with that, goodbye, everybody. I'll see you the next time I do one of these. I hope you all have a good rest of your day.
Like you will.